Time to look at the men's standings here through 15 events on this final day of the competition. NC State, they're going for yet another victory. Well over 1,000 points. Notre Dame, though, has never finished higher than third. They do have the meet record. Zachary Yeaton did that in 2020. Ipsen the conference record, and the American record held by the Gators' Bobby Finke 4 years ago. 16:50, 66 laps. We got off to a great start with our women's competition. Now we turn it over to these 8 gentlemen. One of them will be the ACC champ. They've already been champs, like this guy. Kyle Ponsler won the 400 IM earlier this week, sophomore. Tyler Watson from the Cardinals in lane 2. Mert Killavaz from Georgia Tech. He'll be in lane 3. Owen Lloyd from NC State, the senior. He's been on the podium this week as well. Ross Dant. These are big names.
Yeah.
NC State graduate student, lane 5. Zabertsev won the 500 free on Wednesday. Ilya will be in lane 6 for Louisville. James Plage from NC State. He's a senior. He'll swim out of lane 7. And then Jordan Yentchev for Florida State. Won the beat consolation the other night. He'll be in lane number 8. He won that in the 500 free.
And in lane 4, we've got Owen Lloyd from NC State. Last year, he was 5th in this event. He has been swimming very, very well this year. If he can swim within his own lane lines and not pay attention to what Dant is doing, I think that he's got a great shot to win this.
NC State took it last year, so we'll see. NC State has 4 of the 8 swimmers. Very similar to Virginia. They have so much depth. Again, you have to earn your way here to get to the final 8, and that is where you get most of the points.
Well, our guy Owen Lloyd had quite the slow start. Again, he has very little time to make up for that, so I should really harp on it. But again, you know, it's just nice for these guys to get in the water, get this race started, get into their rhythm. It's going to take, you know, maybe a couple hundred for them to really feel their water, feel how they're feeling today, if I can say that word one more time, because every day is different. You know that when you wake up. Some days you feel good, some days you don't. Same with the swimmer.
The Wolfpack have won 8 of the last 9 championships, and overall 29 outright, 1 co and 2 tri champion. So 32 ACC titles for the men. Louisville, the only one to interrupt this streak in the recent years since 2015. The Cardinals won in 2021, and they won by 2 points over NC State. And think about all these races.
Yeah.
And we talk about how points are important. Well, some years they are.
Yes.
And down to 2 points to win a championship or not.
Exactly. And so that's why, you know, when you hear people talk about the C final, listen, I'm going to tell you what, that is just as important as the A final is. Maybe even more so, because that's where all of your depth is coming from.
ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips expected to be on hand tonight. Been very busy. He's been at all the championships that are going on, many of them concurrently.
Yeah.
Track and field in the ACC, and he's expected to be on hand to hand out the trophies. We'll have the award ceremony tonight, of course, coming up, but a lot to go before then.
You can look at lane 4, right? That is our guy, Owen Lloyd, that we've been talking about. Look at his stroke. See how relaxed he is when his arms are out of the water, but look at how much distance per stroke he's getting. It is a ton. Right there, you can see he's got that nice glide out front, gets onto his side, doesn't look too rushed. Now, something with the distance swimming that is different from other events is notice their kick. It's a 2-beat kick, meaning kick, 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 really just to balance your body out. You don't want to get your kick going too early in an event like this, because again, your legs, your quads are the biggest muscle in your body. They take the most oxygen. So if you get those rocking and rolling too early, you're going to run out of oxygen for the rest of your body, and you won't be able to finish as fast. So that's why they do that.
You're saying when they kick and then they pause.
Yes.
They do not kick each and every stroke.
Exactly. It's almost like a boom, boom, boom.
Would everyone be doing that, or is someone not doing that?
There are some random people that will not do that, but they are not the people that we will be talking about at the end traditionally. I'm not saying that that's always, but if you look at most of them have that little 2-beat kick.
Is that something good for the backyard pool as well?
Absolutely, a good 2-beat kick with a Mai Tai, fantastic. Speaking of Mai Tais, I got to give a shout out really quickly, because if you look down at the bottom there right of your screen, and we've got that graphic, our graphics guys have been on fire this week, so I just want to say thank you. Without them, I don't know where we would be.
Absolutely. Right down to the hundredths of a second.
Correct.
Owen Lloyd has the lead for NC State. He's the senior from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He's in lane 4, but it's very close. Ross Dant, his teammate, the graduate student in lane 5, may have just grabbed the lead here early on in the race. 66 overall lengths, and they've got 17 packed away, so not quite a third of the way through yet.
You want to see, I've been talking about this drafting situation all week long, and it's happening right now. It is happening. Someone is drafting off of Owen Lloyd, and that is our guy in lane 3. So that's going to be Mert from Georgia Tech. He is right there on that lane line. So Mert right now is being pulled by Owen, and so Mert's not using as much energy as Owen is. Owen's using actually more to pull him along. It's kind of like, think about bike racing, you know, when you see the pack.
Sure.
It's very similar.
Killavuz from Georgia Tech, the junior, in lane 3. Would he be swimming a little more to the left instead of center, or not necessarily?
Well, I think that Owen in lane 4 needs to get in the center so no one can draft off of him. But I do think that Mert, yes, move over to that lane line that's closest to Owen. If he can even get just a little bit closer, that would be even better for him.
Lloyd has the lead on Dant. .23 of the 66 lengths of the pool finished here in our 1650. You're watching the men's competition as we continue our final day. It's been a great week. The 5th day of the competition. Hopefully vacation's in order after schoolwork when the spring break comes for these athletes. It's been a grueling week, but a fun one for them, and I hope for you too to watching with us. We've had a good time.
We've had so much fun. With races like this, how could you not? Because here we are in the mile, and we have got a dead heat for first, second, and now we've got third coming up there, and we even have a battle for third. This is awesome.
We'll be back to see who will crown the champion in the 1650 in the ACC Championships when we come back to Greensboro. Welcome back. Craig Minervini, Amy Van Dyken, the 6-time Olympic gold medalist, here at the ACC Championship 2024 men's and women's swimming and diving. Right now we are past the midpoint of this race, our 1650. Get our men's competition going, and a pretty good battle between teammates. Owen Lloyd in the lane 4, lower part of your screen, and right in the middle there, Ross Dant, his teammate in lane 5.
Now, these guys train together, obviously, every day. They swim at the same school, but if they have very different strokes. And I know some people at home are going, what do you mean? It looks exactly the same. Well, when you look at them, you can see, and we are talking about Owen Lloyd, who is up at the top. Is that correct? Yes, Owen Lloyd is at the top.
Right.
And Ross Dant, I got all discombobulated. They're coming right at us, making that turn. Now, you can see how in lane 4, Owen Lloyd is right there, nice and long. Ross Dant has more of that straight arm on one of his arms. The other arm is bent, whereas Owen's, both of his arms are bent. That is nothing outside of the water. You want to make sure that you're just relaxing. See right there, you can see the difference on your right, that is going to be Owen Lloyd, and up on the left, that is going to be Ross Dant. And you can see right there the difference of their strokes.
Can I ask you a silly question?
Absolutely.
Why does one swimmer, like for example Lloyd here, he breathes to the right, and the swimmer to his left is Dant, he breathes to his left?
That's a great question. It's wherever they feel comfortable. Now, I was always taught...
Here they're facing each other.
They're facing each other now, so they can see each other now. I was always taught that you would always take a breath facing the same way so that you would even out your body. Well, that has turned out to be hoo-ha, and it does not matter. So, not at all. It just matters what you're comfortable with. So sometimes they'll be looking at each other, and sometimes they'll be looking away from each other.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're right-handed or left-handed.
Not necessarily.
They come right at you. And they have opened up a sizable lead here with still 19 lengths of the pool to go.
That turn right there, I'm gonna tell you what, Ross Dant really kind of held up on that wall for a second. It was interesting. I'm not saying that he was slowing down or anything. Let's see if he does it here. He did it a little bit there, but when he does that, he gets a big, huge jump off of the wall. So I'm not gonna be as critical with that, because watch as we're coming in here. Again, Dant is in lane 5, and he pushes off and gets that little extra oof every single turn. Now, Owen Lloyd is catching up in the middle of the pool, but again, as we're coming to this turn, watch how Dant just flies off that wall.
Dan, a 4-time All-American in the 1650 freestyle, graduate student from Hickory, North Carolina. Lloyd, a senior in lane 4, right of your screen. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He won the bronze earlier this week in the 500 freestyle. Got his first ACC medal last year, his second on Wednesday in that bronze 400 IM.
Something to take note of is look behind these gentlemen. You will see a little bit of a kick now. They've both got their legs going at exactly the same time. So interesting.
We should mention Jordan Yanchev is a lap down in lane number 8, top of your screen.
So that's what's called lapping them. So he has been lapped. It happens. But these two guys from NC State just going right at it, head to head. It's almost like a practice for them.
You can see the numbers there, 55 in, and to the left, 53 in.
Yes.
So there's the difference in terms of how many lengths are in the books.
Yeah. Now here goes Owen. He's kind of taken a little bit of a lead there. But again, let's see what happens on these walls, because Dant is so good on the walls. And Dant, look at that up at the top. His distance per stroke is amazing right now. That's what you want. When I talk about that, it's basically how far you go with each stroke. You want your distance per stroke to be a lot, for lack of a better word. You want to pull a lot of water with each stroke, so you don't have to take as many as maybe the guy next to you. So that's why we look at distance per stroke. You can see Owen Lloyd, who's right below him on your screen. He's taking more strokes than Dant is, so he's got a lower distance per stroke.
175 yards to go for the championship. That's 7 lengths of the pool. Owen Lloyd is battling his teammate back and forth. Just when I say one's leading, the other seems to take the lead, but Lloyd's opened up a very small advantage now.
Almost half a body length right now that Owen has surged ahead, and you can see Dant riding on that lane line, trying to get any amount of help that he can get.
0.2 of a second lead now for Lloyd.
And look at that white water behind him. Looking really good. Just make sure you swim in your own lane lines. You're not swimming a person, you're not swimming a name. You are swimming the 1650. Swimmers have to remember that.
Lloyd extending his lead.
As we're gonna head into, they're coming up here on the bell lap, and right now it looks like all Owen Lloyd. Can Ross Dant catch him? I don't know. I don't think so at this point.
Just 50 yards to go. And the lead is close to 2 seconds here for Owen Lloyd, the senior from North Carolina State. He's 25 yards away from the ACC Championship.
Here he goes, pulling a Bobby Fink, sprinting the last 50. Love to see it.
Owen Lloyd, the senior from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. You are an ACC champion of 1650. Teammate Ross Dant finishes second.
You can see everybody is on their feet right now. This is exciting.
Ilya Suburtsev from Louisville grabbed third place.
Get on that lane line, son. You earned it. Congratulations amongst teammates. They work hard together in and out of the water every single day. Such a great friendship, relationship that you have with your teammates.
NC State only building on their big lead. With the 1-2 finish, Louisville grabbing third.
Go Pack, baby.
And with Plage finishing fourth, the Wolfpack have 3 of the top 4 spots.
That was a great race by every single gentleman in the pool.
That's a personal best time too for Lloyd at 14:37.04, beating his lifetime best by over 4 seconds.
Woo! That's a way to go, man.
So NC State adding yet another gold, another silver, and they are wearing out the track to the podium here in Greensboro. Came into the day with a huge advantage on the overall standings. Remember, that includes the diving on the men's side and the swimming.
What? Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. They're just saying that Owen Lloyd was disqualified. What is happening? You're seeing the displeasure from Dant, his teammate. Oh no, I'm gonna cry.
Well, we're getting this news live as you heard it from the PA announcer.
I don't know what he could have done. I really don't. We need clarification.
We will hear at some point from the referees to get the decision.
He's talking to his coach right there, Braden.
That's Braden Holloway, the coach, speaking with Owen Lloyd, who just went from one of the great moments in his sporting life to obviously the other side. And on the board, his teammate now, Ross Dant, is listed #1 as the winner. Ross, this is a strange one, I know, for you. Congratulations on one hand. Do you have any idea what happened and your emotions right now?
I think that's the dumbest rule in swimming. Owen beat me fair and square. He should be on that toe of the podium. He was excited. That's a huge win for him, right? He earned that. He earned that, and that's his emotion, right? That's what we get in the sport of swimming when we do well. We train all year for a moment like that, and to have him disqualified, I think, is the dumbest thing ever.
Do you mind
He
if
works so hard every day. He is going to be on that #1 trophy. I am not going to stand up there.
Ross, do you mind if I ask you what rule did he break? We haven't even heard of up here.
Whenever you win, you're not allowed. Well, the other teams, or excuse me, the other swimmers are still swimming. You have to stay in your own lane. You're not allowed to jump or cross over the lane line into someone's lane. And in this celebration, which he earned, he came over to my lane.
Oh my God.
No, he earned that fair and square. He will be getting that medal.
Ross, well done.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending some time with us, giving us the insight there on that technical ruling.
You can hear the crowd.
So there was still a lot of time. They were over 50 yards ahead of most of the combatants, and this is the point we're talking about with this technicality.
But that's what you do when you win. I'm sorry. Listen, there's not a lot of rules that I have a problem with. That I have a problem with. That young man deserved that win.
It certainly didn't affect anybody in the other lanes at all. And in lane 4, his teammate happened to be right next to him. And you heard it live here. The new results, a disqualification for Owen Lloyd. So his teammate, Ross Dant, who didn't even want to accept and may not the #1 award here, is moved up technically as the winner of the 1650.
You know, I don't, let me be honest with you, I'm one of those people that does not get emotional at all. And I am heartbroken right now for that young man. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a minute.
So Owen Lloyd, who won with a time of 14:37.04 by over 2 seconds, by 2.3 seconds, and he has the title taken away from him on that ruling. More coming up on that and our 200 backstroke when we return to Greensboro. Welcome back. Ross Dant got the award for the gold medal after a DQ by his teammate. Talking to the head coach, Braden Holloway. Lloyd won the race in the pool by 2 3/10 seconds, but because he celebrated by going over the lane, it was taken away from him here in a kind of a shocking moment. There was a gasp here, there still is, but we'll have to move along here. We got a lot to cover after the emotion, but that's live sports sometimes. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's unfortunate for Owen Lloyd, obviously. A technical rule, but a rule they were aware of, as you heard Ross Dant tell us, and it was enforced. So we move on to our women's 200 back, whether you like it or not. If they don't, maybe they make a change in the rule at some point. That's usually what happens in sports when rules are considered to be unfair or need to be adjusted. The bodies look at it and decide. It happens in all sports.
It does.
But that's a tough one, no matter what.
This is one that has to be looked at because if you celebrate, you deserve it. But these women in the pool right now deserve it as well.
They certainly do. And let's get to their story. It's the C final.